What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. Okay, so I wanted to share with you a little, I guess, a little statistic here that caught my attention because I was surprised at how early we had hit it. And that is this right here. We have burned over 30 million SPS from the node license sale, and that is over 1% of the total SPS that will ever be minted. So there's going to be a total of 3 billion SPS tokens, and again, 1% have already been burned. Now, we might look at that and say, oh, 1%, that's kind of like nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's very small, 30 million out of 3 billion. And I agree with you, right? At this point, it's small, but keep in mind that SPS is not even 1 year old. It's going to celebrate its birthday here in about a week and a half. And in this first year, we've gotten diluted a quite a large amount of SPS. We've gotten about 1/4, a little bit over 1/4. This is saying 786 SPS total supply. Although I feel like I've seen over 800 million in the Splinterlands website, but hopefully we'll get some updated numbers. But either way, it's over 1/4, and we'll probably be closing in on 1/3 soon if we work our way towards 10 million. Now, obviously, that the SPS airdrop is going to end, but there will be other mechanisms that are going to be replacing it soon, and not to the same extent, but there are going to be other dilutions that come through, whether it is SPS ranked battle rewards, SPS brawl rewards, and LP rewards, as well as node rewards, all right? So these are 4 that are probably going to be coming in at some point, I would say, within the next 2 months, to be safe. Maybe even on the earlier side of that 2 months than on the later side. And then we're going to have land, which is another one that probably won't be coming in until next year when land is actually functional. But regardless, these are all going to run for roughly 65 months, right? That's according to the white paper. So we're going to be getting diluted SPS for a while. But the fact that we've burned 30 million already from the node license sale, and we are not even 1/3 of the way through tranche 1, makes me feel as though we are going to continue burning a ton of SPS in the short term if the price doesn't start to pick up. Now, one of the reasons that the node license sale has been slow is due to the fact that the price is low, and also the rewards for SPS have not actually started yet. So maybe there's people waiting for that to begin. But we are getting the voucher rewards, although vouchers have completely fallen in value. So maybe we'll see node license sales pick up in, I don't know, a couple of weeks by the end of August when the actual rewards go live for SPS. And depending on where the price of SPS is at that point in time, it could be an interesting dynamic to see play out based on where the price is and if we start to see more SPS burn. But what I'm trying to get to here is the biggest news that's come just within the last week on how SPS is going to be burned for DEC or minting DEC in the future. Now, the basic premise of this is that we are going to be able to burn $1 worth of SPS to mint 1,000 DEC. So that is going to be the mechanism in which the peg will be stabilized, at least towards the upside. And then the downside, the team is backing it with products. So you'll always be able to buy products from the game, whether that's packs or any other things that they release in the future, for a rate of $1 to 1,000 DEC. Now, the thing is, if we continue to burn SPS at this rate, again, 1% still stands out to me. And I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but the fact that we're already there seems kind of huge in this sense because we are going to continue to burn for node license sales. And I don't know what the dynamic will be like for SPS burning from DEC redemption, but I can tell you this, if the game continues to grow, and not just that, but if the game continues to grow, not from a player base, but from kind of like a mechanics and functional base, right? Because DEC or land is going to require a ton of DEC, and that DEC is going to be burned. So if we continue to burn DEC or have these sinks for DEC, one of which will be land, which is finite, but the second of which is guilds, which could be huge in the future, because if you think about it, guilds are ultimately infinite, right? Because new guilds can be created every single day. All you have to do is burn some DEC, and as players come in, you can only fit 30 people in a maxed out guild. So if everybody in the future is trying to join these guilds, there's going to be a massive rush for DEC to get those guilds leveled up. So what does this do to the SPS supply then? Well, as the game progresses forward and grows both internally and externally with people, and as well as whatever the project is doing from a functionality standpoint, SPS is going to be burned, and that's actually one of the biggest things that I'm most excited about, right? For when it comes to SPS, is the fact that I've been screaming for SPS utility, and now we're kind of getting it in one of the most unique ways possible. I know it's based off the Terra Luna ecosystem, or the Terra Luna tokenomics, which had a fatal flaw because you could go back and forth. This is a one-way transaction. And so as demand for DEC grows, there should be a demand for SPS that grows in the future. And so essentially all DEC utility at this point is going to be flowed through SPS when you go further upstream, right? So in that way, I'm excited to see how quickly we can start burning through more percentage points of SPS. Now, I don't think the SPS burning for DEC is going to come in for a while. That might be months away at this point in time. But we will potentially see node licenses get some love in the future once the SPS rewards go live. And if there is if there is a potential pump, I should say, for SPS when it comes to Rift Watchers, I wonder how sustainable that would be made if people go in and say, well, now I have some SPS that is worth a little bit more. Let me go in and buy a node, essentially burning a ton more SPS for that in the process. So, I don't know necessarily where this goes. I just wanted to share that 1% stat with you, because the fact that we're already at 1% kind of makes me excited. Again, the token's been out for 1 year. The nodes have been out for less than 2 months, right? They came in at the end of May. So in less than 2 months, we've already burned 1% of the supply, and there's more burning mechanisms upcoming. And as the price goes up, sure, the amount burned gets less, but ultimately, as we create more demand within this game, as more people come in, there's potentially more assets to spend and burn DEC on. All of that gets filtered back to SPS. And so 1% is a lot to me. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot to me, and I'll be watching this closely as we go along. That being said, and I'll close the video out with this, burning SPS in and of itself doesn't do anything. You can see here we've burned 1% of the supply, and the price has continued to fall in value. We're at 5 cents today, up from 4.5 cents, but the entire market is pumping right now, and so because of that, we've seen SPS and actually DEC rise quite a bit. But before that, we saw SPS fall even with all the burning that was happening. So burning is really just a marketing kind of term, or marketing scheme that's used to get people excited about something. Ultimately, the price only rises if there's demand. So burning, while it can have an impact on the like a secondary impact, doesn't have a direct impact. Just because you burn something doesn't mean that people are going to buy it. If you burn something, then there's just less of it. But if people don't want it in the first place, then it doesn't matter how much there is. But the burning, combined with the fact that we know there's going to be utility for DEC, both with guilds and with land, and with whatever kind of transactions people want to do in the market, if there's more player growth that happens over the next year, 2 years, I don't know. That's exciting. All right, that's enough hopium from me. I'm really fascinated by the new tokenomics, and again, we don't have all the information just yet, but it's something that gets me, dare I say, bullish? I don't know, just a little bit. So I'm thinking a little bit more about SPS these days, and where things could go from a utility standpoint, because I was the one, maybe even driving the train for this, like SPS ECR regeneration, or SPS, just other kinds of utility, staking SPS for something. And now I'm wondering to myself that really wasn't scalable. The team would have to be adjusting that as the player base grew. Whereas now, this again was kind of a different take on how to give SPS utility through another token that has a lot of in-game utility, just due to the fact that it's the primary currency used, aka DEC. So we'll see where this goes, but I'm curious to get your thoughts on how you're thinking through this burn mechanism in the future. And are you surprised? Let me ask this: are you surprised that we're at 1% already? Did that number jump out to you the way that it jumped out to me, or is it just so small and insignificant? At this point in time, to me, I think it's significant, and I'm curious to see where we go in the future with these upcoming burn mechanisms that are planned. So that's all I have. Have an amazing rest of your day. I will catch you all in the next video, and I will see you around the game. Take care.